civility, and ethics. I also ask that you remain mindful of the constitutional rights of all parties, and in every engagement that you treat each person you engage with the dignity and respect they are inherently due, as they are human beings. I want to turn also to objections, the format that I wish to follow if objections are made. When an objection is made, all parties shall pause so that the objection may be heard. Speaking objections are not permitted. If any party believes that an extended argument is necessary, particularly on sensitive matters, that party may request to approach the bench, and all parties will approach the bench. Both sides will be afforded an opportunity to be heard for or against the objection, after which I will issue a ruling either sustaining or overruling the objection. Once the ruling has been made, direct or cross-examination may resume. I anticipate that we will begin each morning at 9 a.m. with the exception of Wednesday, and we will begin at 1 p.m. We will take a 15-minute morning break and a 15-minute afternoon break. If there is a situation that necessitates a break, please approach the bench and we can address that. We will recess for lunch at noon for 1 hour each day, with the exception of Wednesday, and court will resume at 1 p.m. and continue until 5 p.m. each day. Does either party need the benefit of the record?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Nestor.
No, Judge, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. Do either party wish to invoke the exclusionary rule?
Defense invokes, Your Honor.
All right. The defense has invoked the exclusionary rule. I ask that all witnesses, if present, be excused from the courtroom, and ask that each party monitor the courtroom to ensure your witnesses aren't present, as I'm not familiar with who they are. Of course, victim representative is excluded from that rule, as is the case manager pursuant to the rules. Okay, and I anticipate that from here on out that they're just going to come to the lectrum. So, okay, so just for the benefit of the record, to the questions, the yes or no questions. Well, the parties have entered their appearances and they're all present, and neither party wanted the benefit of the record. Ms. Nestor invoked the exclusionary rule, and Mr. Grunander, if you'd like to approach the lectrum as the microphones at the tables are not activated.
Thank you, Judge. Yeah, we anticipated that the defense would invoke the exclusionary rule. We consulted with defense for just a couple of minutes prior to the start of this hearing. We essentially have two case agents, Your Honor, David Hull and Brian Davis, both from the state of Utah. The defense has consented that both of them can be present. So one is seated at my table, the front table. This is Brian Davis, Agent Davis, and Agent Hull is seated on the bench just on the other side of the bar. He will be present for this hearing as well. Both of these agents will be testifying as part of the hearing.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor, your microphone's dead. If you want to come forward, and it sounds like you've stipulated, but just for the benefit of the record.
We have stipulated, Your Honor, for purposes of this hearing only.
Thank you. All right, so Agents Davis and Hull are permitted to remain in the courtroom during the duration of the preliminary hearing. Any other business that we need to address before we turn to the business of witnesses? Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Your Honor. Richard Novak for Mr. Robinson. Your Honor, the court had issued an order, maybe it was early last week, asking the parties to meet and confer about the question of whether exhibits will be published. And we did, and we can either deal with this as a general matter, or we can deal with it on an exhibit by exhibit basis. But I just wanted to make sure that we didn't lose track of that issue. The court had earlier entered an order granting in part the defense motion to exclude I'm just going to say technology in the courtroom because it's a shorthand for video cameras and photography and microphones, because the parties had earlier stipulated that none of the exhibits would be available from the preliminary hearing, would be available for inspection or copying. I understand that publishing the exhibits in the courtroom may technically be different than that, but whenever the court is ready to deal with that issue, we just want to make sure that we do so
Thank you, Mr.
before it's too late.
That's always the right time to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Turning to the state in defense, do we anticipate this being a long argument, or is it something that we can handle? There are some stipulations that we can address right now, and then the remainder we can address on an exhibit by exhibit basis. Mr. Gernander.
Judge, I don't know that we have any stipulations, but with that said, it is correct. Mr. Novak's correct. We did meet and consult on this issue. I wanted to give the court just a brief roadmap, but part of that was exhibits 7, 8, and 9 that we propose introducing will be graphic in nature. And those were the exhibits I was referring to at the last hearing, where we would like to take a short break before they were published, if they are published, whether it be by way of video and or audio. Judge, I don't see any TVs or monitors here in the courtroom today with respect to publishing something that would go beyond counsel table and your honor's bench. So I don't know how much this is of an issue this is going to be anyway, at least with respect to pictures or video.
Thank you. That's a great point. And the court's thought about this issue in regards to publication of exhibits. Obviously, the court will entertain all motions before any, but after considering it, here's the 2 points that I wish to address. In regards to the exhibits, there is benefit to publication of certain exhibits, but I also do not, and this is going to the camera operator, do not want them to be displayed on TV. I believe it is important that the parties know that the exhibits are being viewed by the judge in real time and in open court. However, what I will do is have the monitor placed against that wall to reduce the possibility of it being broadcast. And so on the exhibits that the court grants to be published in court, and not going to Mr. Novak's point, not to be given copies to, and the court is trying to be mindful that if it's shown on TV, that's essentially giving a copy to. And so the court is taking Mr. Novak's point in consideration. And so the anticipation is, and I know I'm catching staff a little bit off guard, is placing that television right behind Jeff, our bailiff, to minimize the accidental capture by the camera and in allowing it to be displayed. I recognize that that is not the ideal spot for viewing, but I am also trying to balance the rights and important considerations that defense has made. And again, this will be on an exhibit by exhibit basis on what is published or what is not. But for the exhibits that the court rules can be published in open court, that is going to be the location of the monitor. And again, the court spent a bit of time weighing what should be done, where the monitor should be placed to accomplish the purposes of publication, at the same time protecting, especially as it may relate to sensitive material if the court deems that to be publishable in the courtroom. Any questions that I can address from either side or clarification needed or thoughts that you wish to share?
No, I think I understand completely.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Gernander, as it relates to that, are we anticipating the possibility of that coming up very soon in regards to publishing potentially exhibits?
Not real soon. but today certainly I would anticipate, Judge. For the course information, we anticipate presenting 4 witnesses. They're all law enforcement witnesses. Officer Chris Bagley, he's now with Spanish Fork Police Department. He was with Utah Valley University Police Department. He'll be the first witness. The second witness will be Agent David Hull, and those exhibits 7, 8, 9, we anticipate coming in through him. The third witness will be Agent Brian Davis, again with the state of Utah, a case agent who's here presently. And lastly, Sergeant Jennifer Faumoina, also of the Utah Department of Public Safety. And we do anticipate admitting between 40 and 50 exhibits.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Grunander, I apologize. You walked away before I got my question out. If we anticipate taking a break around 10:30, do you anticipate any potential exhibits for publication being requested prior to 10:30?
I do, Judge.
Okay.
I do. I think the first several exhibits should be published. So.
All right. Well, let's do this. I want our preliminary hearing to move smoothly and with the least amount of delays as possible. So let's take a brief break to allow the placement of that monitor, a brief test to make sure it's working, and then we can be seamless in moving forward.
One quick question, Judge, for council's benefit. Are the monitors at the tables going to be turned on?
The monitors are, and
Okay.
that's why I wanted to give that instruction early on for each party to monitor their monitor. Because if the camera is doing a wide sweep picture of the courtroom, I can't prevent the accidental capture. Obviously, the decorum order anticipates not focusing in to the point that is focused on your monitors. But I ask all the parties to be mindful, especially as it relates to the sensitive material that may be published or may not. But please just take a look at that and be mindful of that. But I will leave it to you. So I believe it's important that all parties see what is before the court. So if you have objections, it's right there. You can say, okay, I see what the court's saying. I have objection or not, or just to confer with your client. I just want to make sure that there is no misunderstanding of what's being presented, to allow all parties the benefit of the record, and it is clear what is being presented to the court for consideration as evidence. Thank you.
And we do have one exhibit that will be in physical form. And so we will be using the easel, I think that's just
Okay.
over by the jury box.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Grunander. Before we break, I do wish to remind the parties that this is a preliminary hearing. It is a probable cause standard. And if you could keep that in mind as you're presenting your evidence, this is not intended to chill what you present, but keep in mind that the standard is probable cause, and that is what the court as a magistrate will be looking to. All right, with that, let's, how much time do we need for the placement of the monitor? All right, well, let's break for 6 minutes. Let's make it easy on ourselves. Let's just come back at 9:35 and we'll resume court at that time. Thank you.
All right.
Court is back in session. Noting the presence of counsel and the parties to the state, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, we are, Judge, but prior to calling our first witness, I would like Mr. McBride to make a brief report on discovery updates, and then just inform the court that the state has provided copies of all exhibits for today's proceedings to the defense in advance of this hearing. So,
All right. Mr. McBride.
Yes, Your Honor. My report at the last hearing is the latest report. As of June 18th, we had provided approximately 100% of the material in our possession. Over the last week, we have received additional materials from SBI due to preparation for this hearing. Those materials have not yet been provided, but they will be as soon as this hearing is complete.
Thank you. Defense, I require the benefit of the record.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Nestor. And in case the mic didn't pick that up, she declined. All right, turning to the state, you may call your first witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Officer Chris Bagley.
Officer Bagley, if you'd like to come forward, looks like he's being brought into the courtroom. All right, Officer Bagley, if you wouldn't mind coming forward past the lectern and being sworn in.
You do solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give in the case now pending before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, Officer Bagley, if you wouldn't mind having a seat at the witness table. And after you're situated, to your left is a bottle of water. And if you wouldn't mind bringing the microphone toward you to ensure that it picks up your voice.
Can you hear that?
I can. Thank you. Mr. Gernander, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Will you please state your name for the record and spell your last name?
Christopher Bagley, last name spelling Bagley.
And how are you employed?
I'm employed with the Spanish Fork Police Department as a police officer.
As a police officer. What is your position or your rank there?
I'm just a senior officer.
Senior officer, okay. How long have you been with the Spanish Fork Police Department?
About 5 months,
5 months. How long have you been a police officer?
26 years.
Okay. Will you briefly describe, for the court's benefit, your training, what you did to become a police officer?
I did the Utah Post Academy, which is about 600 hours of training for basic things to become a police officer, report writing, arrest control, stuff to that effect.
When you say Post Academy, is Post an acronym?
It is.
What does that stand for?
Police Officer Standard Training.
Okay. Were you certified through Post?
I was.
Okay. And what did that certification require?
Going through that post and graduating, all the academy, all the credits that you can get up with hours, and then physical fitness, stuff to that effect, and then graduating from that to earn the certificate.
Was there also testing involved
There was.
at the academy?
Yes.
Okay. Were you employed in September of 2025?
I was.
And where were you employed then?
Utah Valley Police Department.
And how long did you work for the Utah Valley University Police Department?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. And do you recall what your position or your rank was there?
A senior officer there.
Senior officer. Okay. Describe, if you would, just your general duties as a police officer at Utah Valley University.
There at Utah Valley University, we patrol the campus. We'd walk around, we'd patrol, we would do investigations if there was crimes to that effect. We'd make sure that students or staff, if they needed something, we'd be there for them. So basic police, kind of like a school resource officer, community-oriented policing.
Okay. Was this a full-time position?
It was.
Okay. Did you work in law enforcement prior to UVU?
I did.
And where did you work?
I worked at Utah County Sheriff's Office for 13 years. Before that, I worked with the Springville City Police Department for 6 years, and also with the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office for a year.
What were your positions with those departments?
Varies. I did K9, I did SWAT, I did motors, senior officer, FTO officer, detectives.
Okay. While you were at Utah Valley University, did you have access to the video surveillance system on campus?
Yes, I did.
And how so?
It was at our desktop where our police station is. We have desks, and on our desktops, we'd have access to it there. Or we'd go into dispatch and they'd have a wall full of camera systems that we could look at.
How familiar did you become with that system?
Very familiar.
Can you describe?
Around, make some maps so it was easier for dispatch or somebody to click on an area in the campuses where the buildings were and be able to click a little bit easier and get a faster response. So made some maps and stuff like that.
And how often did you use this system?
Every day.
Okay. Did you become familiar with the campus at Utah Valley University
Yes,
when
sir.
you were working there?
Yes.
And explain how you became familiar with it.
Like I said, we'd walk around. I would train other officers. We'd make sure that we knew all the ins and outs, the back doors. We'd make sure we knew where every classroom was, where every entrance and exit was. We'd secure the building. We patrol the neighborhoods. We patrol around campus. And then we also have off-site campuses that we drive to and make sure that they're secure also.
Okay. You mentioned that you patrol the neighborhoods
Yes.
surrounding campus.
Yes.
What about the neighborhood to the north and east of campus?
Yes.
Okay. What was your purpose for patrolling those neighborhoods as an officer for UVU?
One, it was right next to the UVU, so we patrolled it. Sometimes people would run up in that area or be walking up that way. We'd have stolen bikes, stuff like that. So we'd go into the areas, look for stuff. Also with Orem Police Department, we'd go back up them quite a bit for other calls, and a lot would be in the area.
Okay, so back up just a little bit. So Utah Valley University is located in what city?
Orem, Utah.
Orem, Utah. Okay. How familiar did you become with the buildings on campus
Very familiar.
and the walkways?
Very familiar.
You mentioned the entrances and exits to the buildings.
Yes.
What about parking structures?
Yes.
Same answer for that?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with the courtyard or the outdoor amphitheater on campus?
I am.
And generally speaking, where is that located on campus?
It's more of the central, it's an outdoor area centered by a bunch of buildings around it. So it's in the center of the campus pretty much.
Okay, can you describe what it looks like, this courtyard, this amphitheater?
It's kind of like an amphitheater look. So you got some grass and a couple of steps that go up. You got some cement on top with some bushes and flowers. You've got places where people can sit and eat. They come out and study and relax on the grass. And there's a waterfall with a little pond that comes down into a stream. So.
Okay. Are you familiar with the surroundings, the buildings around the amphitheater?
Yes, I am.
Okay. In relationship to this amphitheater, this courtyard, where is the Hall of Flags located?
It would be directly west of the courtyard.
Okay. Is it part of the courtyard or is it just off of the courtyard?
It's kind of the courtyard. It like butts up right against the courtyard. So it'll be the west side of the courtyard.
Okay, so to the west of the courtyard. Is there a walkway across the Hall of Flags?
There is.
Okay,
There's an
and
inside one and an outside one.
Okay, so what is the Hall of Flags then?
The Hall of Flags is a kind of like a bridge between two buildings that all the flags throughout the world are represented in there with some chairs where people sit down and relax with windows so you can see through all the way to the Utah Lake.
Okay. What are those two buildings that are connected by this Hall of Flags?
The Fugal building over to like the science building area.
Okay, so you mentioned the Fugal building.
Yes.
Where's the Fugal building located in relationship to this courtyard?
It's to the south of the courtyard.
Okay. Does it run up against the courtyard,
It does.
the building? Okay. What about the Woodbury Business Building? Where's that in relationship to the courtyard?
That's kind of southeast and it runs up right against the courtyard also.
Okay. And in relationship to the Fugal building, where's that Sorensen? Or excuse me, that business building, the Woodbury Business
Woodbury Business is right directly east of the Fugal.
Building. Okay. What about the Sorensen Center? Where is that located with respect to this courtyard?
The Sorensen Center is going to be kind of like a northeast of the courtyard.
does it, again, run up against this courtyard?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And where is it in relationship to the business building?
Woodbury Business Building is just directly south of the Sorensen.
Directly south. Okay. The Losi Center, are you familiar with that building?
I am
Where is it located on campus?
directly east of the courtyard amphitheater area.
Okay. Does it run up to the courtyard? The Losi Center?
No, not really.
Okay,
It doesn't
so,
run right up against it. So the Sorensen building is kind of like right between those two.
okay. In relationship to the Sorensen building, what direction is the Losi building?
East.
East, okay. Are you familiar with the LDS Institute building on campus?
Yes, I am.
And where is that located?
That is going to be located north of the Losi building and just kind of like northeast of the courtyard.
Okay. And is there a parking structure next to this Institute building?
Yeah, there is.
And where is that?
That is going to be, so you mentioned the Institute building is going to be north of the Losi Center. There is a parking structure that has several levels of parking. It's going to be directly west of the Institute building. And then they also have a parking lot to the north of that across the road.
Okay. With respect to the parking structure,
Okay.
can you describe for the court how one would enter this parking structure, driving and even walking? How do you enter and exit that structure?
So on the north end of the parking structure is Campus Drive. You can drive in and exit on level 1. So that's the ground level. That's where you'd enter if you're driving in or exiting back out on campus. Then goes up to level 2. And on level 2, exit is what's called Heat Plant Road. In between the Institute building and the garage is a little road. And there's an exit right there that you can drive out. You can also, if you were parking there, you could walk out right there at that exit only where I was talking about on that southeast side. You can walk out there, or on the north end of that garage, there's some stairs that go up all the levels and it goes down to the bottom level. And
Defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt.
taken or by whom it was taken, so we would object.
Mr. Grunander.
Would you like us to argue now or approach the bench?
Well, as it relates to this, I'll hear argument.
Okay. Judge, first of all, it's very clear, well-established law that the person who took the photograph is not required to be present to lay the foundation for it. What's required for foundation is that the witness has knowledge of what's depicted in the photograph and can testify to its accuracy. And that's exactly what this officer has done. We laid an ample amount of foundation about this area of campus. He's confirmed that it depicts this area of campus that was previously described. He confirmed the buildings that he can see there. He also confirmed that it was an accurate depiction of this on September 10th, 2025.
Thank you. Any further argument, Ms. Nesser? And Mr. Grunander,
We did file a standing objection at the very beginning of the hearing. I would just refer to our standing objection as well. I know this is not there's no written testimony in this, but just out of an abundance of caution, I want to also refer to our standing objection.
Thank you, Ms. Nestor. All right, having considered the arguments, I find I'm going to overrule the objection and admit Exhibit 1. This witness has firsthand knowledge of the location as well as the building locations. That foundation has been laid. He also stated it was a fair and accurate representation of what's being depicted here. And for those reasons, the defense objection is overruled. State's Exhibit 1 is admitted into evidence and may be published to the courtroom.
Okay. So the state would move to publish that to the courtroom.
It is so granted.
Officer Bagley, are you able to see the monitor that's here in the court that's pointed towards the gallery?
Yes.
From where you're seated, are you comfortable in describing where the courtyard is on that photograph, on that exhibit?
Yes.
And for the record, where is that located?
So all the grass that looks like a triangle, the amphitheater look, that is going to be the courtyard amphitheater area. It's got the tent in it, the white tent that's at the bottom on the far left of the picture. That would be the courtyard area. That's surrounded by buildings, more of the grass area.
I'm going to approach the photo. Well, I'm just going to, when you look at this exhibit to the left of the photograph, there's a walkway there. What is that walkway?
So the red brick walkway that is going north to the top of the picture on the far left is going to be the Hall of Flags, the outside top of it.
Okay. On the bottom of this photograph, there's a white roofed building. It's the largest building, at least as far as what's depicted on this exhibit.
Yes.
What building is that?
That would be the Fugal building.
Okay. And just to the right of that, so that would be to the east of the Fugal building. What building is that?
The other red brick pathway area, that is the Woodbury business building.
Okay. And if I were to walk north, so left on this photograph with respect to that red brick walkway area, there's another building sort of triangular in shape, the rooftop. What building is that?
With that white rooftop, that would be the Sorensen building.
That's the Sorensen building. And what about the Losi building? You've described that. Where is that located on this photograph?
If you go to that triangle white roof, if you go directly to the right, so the right side of the picture, that is going to be the Losi building. It's got several levels.
Is it to the right and up a little bit
Yes.
as well? Okay, and that would be east on this photograph, is that
And
correct?
it's got the gravel rooftop.
Gravel rooftop, okay. I referred you to the LDS Institute building. Are you able to see that in this photograph?
Yes, you are.
And where is that located?
That's going to just be directly north of the Losi building. It's going to be that other white roofed building on the far top of the picture.
Okay, thank you, officer. We can take that down, Your Honor, as far as the publication. Officer Bagley, I'm going to take you back to the date of September 10th, 2025. Do you recall that day generally?
I do.
Were you working that day
Yes, I was.
at UVU?
I was, yes.
Okay. Do you remember what time your shift started approximately?
Yes, it approximately started about 11 o'clock in the morning.
11 o'clock in the morning? Okay. Did you receive a specific assignment shortly after coming on to duty?
Yes, I did.
And what was that assignment?
It was to secure the top of the Hall of Flags on the south end. So we had people that were gathering on top of that were looking down on top of the tent. So we wanted to secure that area. So I was put up on top of the Hall of Flags on the south end.
Okay. My apologies, Your Honor. Could we have Exhibit 1 published again?
Go ahead and republish State's Exhibit 1. Thank you.
You mentioned that you were securing the south end of the walkway on top of the Hall of Flags.
Yes.
And so where do we find that in this exhibit, officer?
So if you can see the tent, the white tent, there's that rooftop where the red brick is. I was on top of that, and there's some, actually looks like yellow crime scene tape. That was some of our barrier that we put up so people wouldn't go above that and walk. So I was sitting right by those flower plants that were by the fugal on the south end.
So is the south end on the bottom of this photograph?
Yes.
Where that walkway kind of begins from the bottom?
Yes.
And you've referred to a tent. Is that the white object we see inside the courtyard?
Yeah, that square white object with the tent.
Okay, thank you. So you were securing that area.
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity that morning, you mentioned you checked on about 11 o'clock that morning and later to walk around campus that day?
Yes,
Did you walk along the Hall of Flags that day,
I did.
that walkway?
Yes.
Did you visit the courtyard that day as well?
Down below, yes, on the south end. I was down there.
Okay. Let's see. Officer, I'm going to turn your attention to State's Exhibit number 2. And that should come up on your monitor there. Let me know when you see that, if you would.
Your Honor, if we could maybe not have it on the lectern screen, we're getting reports that the documents shown on the lectern screen are being live streamed. It's live streamed. So maybe if we could just not show that one until it's admitted.
Mr. Grunander?
I'll submit it to the court, Judge. I've got copies of these for myself
Okay.
that I can refer to as I'm asking questions.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and grant the request by Ms. Nestor. We'll go ahead and there should be a power button to turn it off.
I'm not sure where that's at.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're good.
And if at any point, Mr. Grunander, you do need to use the monitor, let's revisit that. And obviously, Ms. Nestor, you can renew your objection if needs be. But for now, the monitor's turned off. Let's go ahead and proceed.
Thank you. Officer, do you see State's Exhibit number 2 on your monitor?
Yes, I do.
And do you recognize that?
I do.
And what is that?
This is a picture of from the east side looking west of the campus.
Okay. Are you familiar with what's depicted in this photograph?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And does it show, for example, the LoC Center that we've talked about?
Yes, it does.
Does it depict the Woodbury Business Building that we've talked about?
Yes.
What about the Fugal Building?
Yes.
Does it show the Sorensen Center
Yes.
and also the Hall of Flags?
Yes.
In this particular exhibit, can you also see the courtyard?
I can. A partial of it.
A partial of it? Okay. Does it fairly and accurately depict this area of campus of UVU on September 10th, 2025?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, the state offers State's Exhibit number 2.
Your Honor, we renew our standing objection. We also argue that a foundation hasn't been laid in terms of the time this was taken or who took it, and at what point in time this was created and how. So I don't think he has any personal knowledge of that, and we'd object.
Mr. Grunander?
Same arguments, Judge. He has testified that he's familiar with it. He has personal familiarity with it. He's testified that it's fair and accurate as of the day of September 10th, 2025. And that's what was asked of him.
All right. I will go ahead and overrule the objection by defense, noting that the witness has laid he's expressed that this is a fair and accurate representation of what it purports to be, and he's familiar with it. He was there on the day on September 10th, and because that foundation has been laid, State's Exhibit 2 is admitted and may be published.
Thank you, Judge. State moves to publish Exhibit 2.
All right.
Officer, I'm going to direct your attention to this exhibit on the monitor facing the gallery of the court today. Can you describe, there's a large building in the middle of that photograph, slightly above the middle, but what building are we looking at there?
You're looking at the top of the rooftop of the low-C building. It's got two different grays, like a lighter gray and a darker gray.
Are you familiar with that rooftop then?
Yes, I am.
And what's it made of?
It's made of gravel.
Gravel, okay. You mentioned two different grades, or did you say grays?
Grays.
Grays, okay,
Yeah, grays.
all right. Now you described that you could see the courtyard, but it wasn't easily visible in this photograph. Where is the courtyard located on the State's Exhibit number 2?
So you got the white roof that's going to be in the middle, just to the top of the building where the low C is. I described there's a white roof there. That's the Sorensen building. And it's just below that. You can see some grass, and that's where the courtyard is. It's just to the left of that white roof.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask if the witness could actually come down from the stand and point out where the courtyard is located in this exhibit for the court's benefit.
All right. Do we have a second microphone so it picks up his voice? Okay, Ms. Nestor, thank you for allowing us. Officer, you may step down, approach the monitor, and I would ask that you speak into the microphone when responding to a question.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can. Thank you.
So, officer, for our benefit, would you describe again where the low-C center is in this photograph?
The low C center is going to be this one with the gray roofs. It's got two different colors of gray.
Two different colors of gray. Okay. I'm blind. I can't see those two different colors from here, but can you describe where the court, looks like we went blank.
There we go.
Can you point to where the courtyard is located on that exhibit?
The courtyard is going to be here where this grass is in this area right here.
Okay. And what about the Fugel building
Hugo building is going to be this building right here.
and the Woodbury Business Building then?
Woodbury is going to be this one right here with this red brick path.
And the Sorensen Center?
Sorensen Center is going to be this white roofed one that's right here.
Okay. Now on this exhibit, can you see the LDS Institute building and the parking structure that we've talked about?
No, not really. You got the back side of the institute building, which is right here, and the parking structure's over there. So
Okay.
you can't see the institute.
Mr. Gernander, let me stop you just for the benefit of the record, because the record is picking up the audio. When you're pointing it to, and I know it may be a little bit laborious to do this, but as you're identifying, indicate the general location on it, the left side, right side, middle, upper, lower, just so the record knows to some degree where you're pointing. In that way, because the video isn't being captured. So if you would do that, it just creates a more complete record.
Yes.
Thank you.
Understood. That's fair. Thank you, Judge. So again, let's point to the courtyard, and if you'll describe as best you can where that is located on the photograph.
On this photograph, the courtyard is going to be this grass area that's going to be towards the top of the picture. The baseball field's behind it. It's closer to the surrounding buildings. There's some grass in there. That would be the courtyard area.
Okay, we've talked about the Hall of Flags and the walkway above that hall. Where is that located on this photograph?
The Hall of Flags is going to be right by the courtyard, just to the west of it. There's a red brick towards the top of the picture. There's a red brick pathway that goes from the Fugel building, which is on the left of the picture, towards the right of the picture, which is the science building area.
Okay, and then the Sorensen Center, is that the building in the middle with the large white roof?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of towards the upper part of the picture, middle of it. It's going to be a white roof. That will be the Sorensen Center.
And it just to the north and east of the courtyard?
Yes, north and east.
Okay, and then finally, if you would describe the Losi building, the location of that on this exhibit.
The low-C building is going to be pretty much in the middle on the right side. So middle to the right. It's going to have two different colors of gray, a darker gray and a lighter gray. There's a red pathway, and that will be the Low-C Center.
Okay. You mentioned, officer, that there were different stories on the Losi building. How many stories does the Losi building have?
There's 4.
4 stories? Okay. You mentioned that you were familiar with the rooftop. Do you know how to gain access to the rooftop of the LOSI building?
Yes, there's actually an outside stairway right here that comes up. It's going to be just to the south of LOSI building. There's a red pathway right directly in the middle of the picture. Off to the south of that, on the left side of the picture, is an outdoor stairway.
Is that open to the public?
It is.
And how would someone access the roof from that stairway?
If they came up, they would put them right here on this pathway that goes between the LOSI Center and down towards the computer science building. There's a red pathway. There's actually a little handrail, like a little guardrail, probably about a couple feet high, that somebody could jump over.
Is that area restricted? Is it off limits?
Yes, it is. There's kind of like a natural barrier with the guardrail. And from there on, there's no path. It's gravel roof, so it's not paved like everything else.
But someone could hop over that railway?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, officer. You can take your seat again. Officer Bagley, I'm now going to refer your attention to State's Exhibit number 3. That's going to come up on your monitor as well. Let me know when you see that.
Yes, I do see it.
Okay. And do you recognize that?
I do.
And what is that?
This is a drone picture of the campus, more of the courtyard looking eastward.
Okay. I've asked you about several buildings on campus. I'm going to ask you about those same buildings, whether they're depicted in this exhibit, okay? Do you see where the Hall of Flags is located?
Yes, I do. It's down towards the bottom. It's a red brick pathway. It would be the Hall flags.
Okay. What about the Fugal building?
Hugo building is going to be to the right of the picture. It's going to be a white roof building off to the right, directly south of the courtyard.
And the Woodbury business building? Where's
Woodbury,
that at?
Woodbury is going to be another red path. That's going to be just to the east of the Fugal building. It's got a gray roof and some red path.
The Sorensen Center?
Sorensen Center is going to be on the left of the picture. It's going to have a white roof, different levels, and that would be the Sorensen Center.
Okay. The LOSI Center, where's that located in relationship to the Sorensen Center that you've described?
Of the Sorensen Center, it's going to be just directly east of the Sorensen Center towards the top of the picture. You can see the two different colors of gray of the gravel that's on the roof.
Okay. And can you see the courtyard in this photograph?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Is this picture a fair and accurate depiction of this area of Utah Valley University's campus on September 10th, 2025?
Yes.
State offers Exhibit 3, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we renew the standing objection. We also object again that this individual can't identify when the picture was made or how it was made or by whom.
Mr. Gernander.
Same response, Judge. And just for the record, I was also point the court to State v. Purcell, which is a Supreme Court case here in the state of Utah, 1985, which essentially stands for the proposition that if a competent witness with personal knowledge of the facts represented in a photograph can testify that that photograph accurately represents those facts, the exhibit's admissible. He's also spoke about the date being September 10th, 2025. The showing that's required here is essentially a prima facie showing. We're not required to show proof beyond a reasonable doubt, for example, that it was accurate that day or even a preponderance of the evidence. But we'll submit it on that, Judge.
All right. I'm just taking a brief glance at the case you cited.
I can give the citation if Your Honor would like.
If you have that, I'd appreciate that.
It's 711 Pacific 2nd, 243. And I'm looking at page number 245.
All right. The finds that the witness is familiar with the scene. He testified that it is a fair and accurate representation of what State's Exhibit 3 purports to be. And the court finds that necessary foundation has been laid and overrules the objection. State's Exhibit 3 may be admitted, is admitted, and may be published.
State would move to publish State's Exhibit 3.
All right.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Officer, if you would come down into the well of the court, I'm going to ask you a few questions about this Exhibit 3 as well.
Okay.
Can you point out where the Hall of Flags is located and describe that for the record?
The Hall of Flags is going to be down here on the bottom of the picture. It's going to have a red brick pathway with some flowers along the top of it.
You mentioned that you were securing an area of that
Yes.
hall, that walkway. Where were you stationed?
I was down here by the end of the flower pots, which is down here on the south side towards the Fugal building on the far right of the picture.
Okay. In relationship to where you were stationed, where is the Fugal building then?
The Fugal building is just to the right of me, so it would be on the south end of me.
Okay. And so it's on the right side of the photograph there?
Far right side of the photograph, yes.
What about the business building?
The business building is just going to be in the middle of the picture on the far right. It's going to have some red brick pathways. It's going to be multi-level, and that would be the Woodbury building.
Okay. The Sorensen Center, where is that located on the photograph?
Sorensen Center is going to be middle to far left of the picture. It's going to have a white roof on top of it, multi-level.
Okay. And the Losi Center, where is that located?
Losi Center is going to be towards the top of the picture, kind of off-centered a little bit, but it's going to have the 4 or 5 floors that are, the 4 floors that are sitting right there.
Okay. Can you describe those stories, what we're looking at? Where do you find 1, 2, 3, 4, and possibly 5?
So this is ground level where the courtyard is. So this, as you go over in towards the Losi building inside, there's an elevator that'd be ground 1, level
Okay.
1. Level 2 would be the second one where these red ATVs are sitting on the grass right there in the middle of the picture. If you go up from that, that would be the 3rd level. And your 4th level, which is the actual top level of the building, is that very top one with the windows that you can see.
Okay. Is there an atrium on the top of that?
There is an atrium. It's got a little sphere on the top of it. It looks like a little square right on top of the Losi building. That would be an atrium.
Now, you mentioned 2 shades of gray on the rooftop of the Losi building.
Yes,
Can you see that on this exhibit?
I can. So where the atrium is a lighter gray gravel. And on the west side, because I'm looking east, on the west side, there's 2 ventilations for the Losi building, 2 vents on top of that. It's in the darker gray
Okay.
gravel.
You mentioned you're familiar with the rooftop of the Losi Center, correct?
Yes.
When someone is standing on the Losi Center, can they see down into the courtyard?
Yes, they can.
And where is the courtyard located from
It's
the
going to
rooftop?
be in the center of the picture with the grass and the atrium style steps.
Would that be west of the Losi Center then?
Yes, it would be directly west of the Losi Center.
Okay. Now, in a couple of the other exhibits, we saw a tent that was down, set up in the courtyard. Can you see that tent set up in the courtyard in this photograph?
You cannot in this picture. You can't. It would be where I explained where the hall flags is. It's directly underneath the hall flags, like just on the grass right there.
Okay. Is there a clear line of sight between the tent and the top of the Losi Center, the rooftop?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Is some of it obstructed?
Yes.
Obstructed by what?
The Sorensen building that's right here, this white roof that's going to be, this kind of obstructs a little bit of the view of the courtyard.
So where would you have to be standing or perhaps lying down on the Losi Center to see into the courtyard where that tent was?
On the far south side of the Losi building, you could have a line of sight towards the courtyard.
And that's the top roof
The top roof, yes.
with the darker shade of gray that you
Yes.
see? Okay. Thank you, officer. I am going to refer the witness now to State's Exhibit number 35. And Officer Bagley, when you see that, go ahead and let me know. Do you recognize what that is, officer?
I don't have it yet.
Oh, okay. So we don't have this in electronic form? We do, okay. Well, I'll refer you to the exhibit that's to your left and behind you. Do you see that?
I do.
And it's marked as States Exhibit 35 with a yellow sticker, is that correct?
Yes, I can see that on top left of the photo.
Well, for the record, if we can publish that on the witness's screen.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. I was just going to mention that we shouldn't display it until it's been admitted in. So
Do you see States Exhibit 35 in your monitor?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
This is an aerial view of the campus and the northeast area, just north of the campus neighborhoods of Utah Valley University in Orem.
Okay. And how can you personally tell that this is a photograph of the campus and the neighborhood to the northeast of campus?
I can tell because I recognize all the buildings, the roads that are around it, the streets, the roundabouts, the neighborhood to the north or towards the top of the building or picture also.
Now, I've asked you about several buildings and landmarks on campus. Are you able to see the courtyard on this exhibit?
Yes, you are.
And just for the record, can you describe where this is located on the exhibit?
So right in the center towards the bottom, there's a white triangle roof. That's white. That would be the Sorensen building. It's the patch of grass that's just directly south of towards the bottom of that on the picture. So it's kind of centered, but more towards the bottom, right in the middle.
On this exhibit, are you able to see the Fugel building?
Yes, I am.
And in relationship to this courtyard, where is that located?
That's going to be south of the courtyard with the white roof.
What about the Woodbury Business Building?
Woodbury Business Building is going to be to the east, and it's going to have a red brick path top.
Okay. Can you see the Hall of Flags on this?
Yes, you can.
And where is that located in relationship to the courtyard again?
It's directly west of the courtyard.
And the Losi Center. Can you see the Losi Center?
Yes, you can see the Losi
Where's
Center.
that at?
It's going to be kind of northeast of the courtyard. The two patches of gray that's almost in the center of the picture, just to the slight right of the center.
Okay. I've asked you previously about the LDS Institute building. Can you see that on this exhibit?
Yes, you can.
And where is that located in relationship to the Losi Center?
It's directly north of the Losi Center. It's got a white roof, and it's almost directly in the center of the photo.
Okay. And as we've talked about a parking structure that's nearby the Institute building, do you see that?
Yes, it's just to the west or left side of the picture of the Institute building.
Okay. Is this a fair and accurate depiction of Utah Valley University's campus and the surrounding neighborhood to the north and east on September 10th, 2025?
Yes.
State offers State's Exhibit 35.
Your Honor, renew the standing objection and object on the grounds that there's no indication on this photograph of when it was taken in terms of relation to the actual incident at issue here.
thank you, Ms. Nestor. Mr. Grunander.
Same response, Judge, but would just add one more case for the court's benefit. This is State v. Wager or Wager, W-A-G-E-R. This is a Utah Court of Appeals case from 2016. The citation is 372 Pacific 3rd, 91. And the significance of this case, Your Honor, at issue there was a photograph of the defendant there who was smoking methamphetamine allegedly in his bathroom. The witness that was testifying, that laying the foundation at trial, was not present when the photograph was taken, could not tell the date on which it was taken, but he had been in the bathroom before, was familiar with the defendant's bathroom and familiar with the defendant. He testified to that personal knowledge, and the court found that was sufficient foundation. So that case, in addition to the other case, the Purcell case, and my previous arguments, and I'll submit it to the court.
Ms. Nestor, anything else you wish to add?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Given the testimony of the witness who's testified he's familiar with this location, he went in detail describing the various neighborhoods and location. He mentioned the roundabout and identified the buildings in State's Exhibit 35. And it was noted that it is a fair and accurate representation of this campus as of September 10th, 2025. The court is going to overrule the objection, and State's Exhibit 35 is admitted into evidence and may be published.
Thank you, Judge. The state moves to publish it. And if granted, may I approach the exhibit?
You may.
Officer, I've asked you about a number of the buildings located on campus. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions about those and to help orient the court to what the judge is looking at, and then ask you about some of the streets in the neighborhood, okay?
Okay.
For the court's benefit, can you point out where the LDS Institute building is?
Yes, I can.
And I'm going to approach the witness again if you could describe where it's at on that Exhibit 35.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So you want the LDS Institute building? is what you're
Yes,
asking?
please.
That is this white roof right here is the Institute building.
Is that in basically the center of the exhibit?
It's almost exactly in the center of the exhibit.
Okay. And where is the LOSI Center located on that?
If you were to go down towards the bottom of the photo, there's two different graves of gravel on this roof. This would be the low-C building right here,
So below the Institute building and to the right slightly.
slightly to the right.
Can you point out for the court's benefit where the courtyard is?
The courtyard is going to be to the west or left side of the picture. There's some grass in between two buildings that have a white roofs. There would be a grass area right there with some steps. That is going to be the courtyard area, and that's going to be down towards the center bottom of the photo.
So that's to the left and down.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned the parking structure. Where's the parking structure next to the Institute building?
There's two Institute buildings right here in the center with the white roof. The parking structure is going to be just to the left of the Institute or west side. There's a road in between it called the Heat Plant Road, which is the road that goes between those two.
And can you point out for the court's benefit how one would enter that or exit that parking structure by way of vehicle or walking?
By entering, you can enter and exit right here on the north side of the parking structure. There's an entrance and exit right here. That's
For a
into level
vehicle?
1
For a vehicle?
for vehicles.
And I guess someone could walk in there as well.
Yes, if they were to park into this LDS Institute parking lot over here on the north side of that, there's a tunnel that goes underneath the road that still comes out into the parking structure itself. And then they can exit out here on the second level onto Heat Plant Road, which is that road between the LDS Institute building and the parking structure is the Heat Plant. They can exit there and go back towards Campus Drive. So you could walk out either up here on the northeast side of the parking structure and cross over to the LDS Institute, or you can come out here to the southeast side and you can exit there and walk down to the courtyard or behind the LDS Institute building towards the LOSI Center.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned Campus Drive. Where's Campus Drive located on that?
Campus Drive starts right up here towards the top left of the picture. It's almost like a T. And it's the curved road that comes all the way down in front of the Institute building and the parking structure. And it goes all the way around campus, comes back down to the bottom of the picture where the roundabout is, and that would be Campus Drive.
Okay. Are you familiar with where 800 South is in Orem?
Yes,
Is that depicted on this exhibit?
it is.
Where's that at?
It's at the top of this photo. It's going to be the long straight road. That's right here at the top of the photo.
Okay. What about 850 South? Are you familiar with that street?
I am. 850 South is going to be towards the right of the photo, top right of it. There's going to be a street that goes east to west. It looks like a horseshoe, kind of. It's going to be the road that goes east to west. In the middle of that horseshoe would be 850.
Okay, so 850 is parallel to 800 South
Yes.
and just below on this photograph.
Yes,
Okay. Are you familiar with 600 West?
I am.
And where's that street in relationship to 850 South?
That would be on the far right side of the horseshoe. So towards the right side of the picture. And it's going to be the right side of that horseshoe,
And that runs north and south?
north and south.
Okay. What about 720 West? Are you familiar with that street?
Yes, I am.
And where's that at?
That's going to be to the left side of the horseshoe. That runs north and south. And it comes down towards the bottom.
Okay. And finally, 925 South. Is
925
that
south
depicted?
is going to be on the bottom of the horseshoe that connects those other two wests.
Okay. So just in summary, will you describe the horseshoe and what streets make up that horseshoe?
So the horseshoe comes up off of 800 South, and directly south of that, you'll have 850 South, which is going to be running east to west. On the left side is 725 West of the horseshoe, and it comes down into 925 South, which wraps back around to 600 West on the far right side of the horseshoe, on the right side of the picture.
Okay. Thank you, officer. You can be seated. Okay. I'm going to take you back to September 10th, 2025. You mentioned you were on campus. You had a particular assignment.
Mr. Granado, I'm sorry. We're just going to pull down the exhibits.
Okay.
Thank you. You may continue.
Would you like me to take this exhibit down, Judge?
Are you referring to it in your line of questioning right now?
Not right now. I'm not.
Okay, let's go ahead and take it down.
So you were securing the Hall of Flags walkway, correct?
Yes.
On the south end.
Yes.
What was happening that morning, that day at campus at UVU?
I came in to do a shift for a special event where we had a guest speaker come in and was going to talk to the students and people around the neighborhood.
Do you know who the guest speaker was?
I do.
And who was that?
It was Charlie Kirk.
Did you see Mr. Kirk that day?
I did.
When did you first see him?
When he arrived on campus, just behind the west side of the Hall of Flags, I saw him pull up.
And can someone access the courtyard through that area?
Yes, they can.
How so?
Where he pulled up underneath the Hall of Flags is a opening to where you could drive a car underneath. So there's access right there. You could walk or drive underneath the Hall of Flags.
And you saw him arrive?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe what you were seeing? What did you observe?
On that day, I observed Charlie going back, doing some meet and greet with some people, getting some photos taken. He then came underneath the Hall of Flags and went to his tent, and he was there answering questions and talking to individuals that would ask him questions.
The tent you're referring to, is that the tent that we see when it was set up in the courtyard?
Yeah, that white square tent.
The white top?
Yes, he was under that.
Fast forward to about 12:20 or so a little bit after noon, the noon hour. What happened? What did you see? What did you hear?
I heard an individual talking to Charlie, and I happened to kind of glance over the edge of the railing about that time. I could see the right side of Charlie's shoulder, so not his whole body, because he was underneath the tent, so I could only see probably the right side of his body. He was answering a question, kid asked him a question, and then I heard a shot fired.
Do you know what time that was?
Yes,
What time was that?
12:23.
What did you see?
At that moment, I saw him lean to the left, so
When you say him, you
Charlie.
Charlie?
Charlie Kirk. So I saw him go to the left because I could no longer see the right side of his body. So he went further underneath the tent to the north side of the tent, so left.
Okay. Can you describe the reaction of others that were there?
Yeah, so then everybody started getting up and starting to run in more of a chaos kind of situation.
Before you continue, can you describe a little bit? So you mentioned Mr. Kirk was answering questions, talking to individuals.
Yes.
Were there others present?
Yes.
Any idea about approximately how many? How would you describe it in your terms?
In my terms, I'd say when I was up there looking down, I'd say there's several thousand people because you had it on the grass. It was jam-packed in the amphitheater sitting on the grass. You had people standing on the back up along the cement. You had people that were on the second level of the Sorensen and over by the Woodbury building. There's another level there where a lot of people were standing and watching. So it was pretty packed, several thousand people.
You mentioned you heard something. What did you hear again?
I heard a gunshot.
Okay. And can you describe you described Mr. Kirk's reaction. Was that simultaneous to hearing the gunshot?
Yes, it was.
When he fell to the left?
Yes.
Did you see the reaction from the crowd?
Yes.
What was that?
Everybody kind of got up. They all said, a lot of people were screaming, standing up and starting to run in all different directions away from the center of the tent.
Okay. You're a police officer helping to secure the area, correct?
Yes.
What did you do?
At that moment, I recognized it as gunfire. I left Ghost, which was right there on the south end of the Hall of Flags. I proceeded to right where the Fugle and the Hall of Flags meet. There's some outside stairs that I was starting to run down. As I was trying to get down to the bottom of the stairs, people were running up, people were laying down on the steps. I'm trying to jump over people to get to the bottom of the stairs so I can help stop an individual that's probably shooting.
What happened next?
By the time I got to the bottom of the stairs, I was informed on the radio that we had a shooter in custody. So I thought at that moment, I was like, oh, that was kind of fast. Obviously, it was closer range probably because we had an individual in custody. Another officer came on and said we had an individual in custody. So I decided to, since the threat is gone, now I can assess for anybody that's injured and start looking for any medical needs that's needed at that moment. I started canvassing the area. As I canvassed the area, I was looking for anybody that was injured. I saw a kid on the ground that was on about the second or third tier in the grass next to a wheelchair, and he was almost convulsing. I thought he'd maybe been shot. Talked to the dad as I was running over there. He said that he was just having a seizure, that he was fine, he was not injured. So then at that moment, I observed that there was no other injuries that I could see at that moment.
Okay. Was your attention drawn to anything else at that time?
Yeah, so after we got some people kind of cleared away a little bit, I thought I needed to start preserving the scene because we had a crime scene. And with some of my experience and training to that effect I decided now we need to contain the scene and help preserve as much evidence as we can. So I started pushing people off the grass out of the courtyard area because I knew that's where the crime scene was. So as we started pushing those guys out, my Chief Long, that was right next to me, I looked down and saw an empty pistol holder that was sitting just on top of the grass. And at that moment, things had died down just a split second. I realized that the shot I heard was more of a rifle shot and not a pistol shot.
And what causes you to say that?
Just from being around firearms through all my trainings, the difference is, a handgun is more of a short bang pop sound. With a rifle, you have more of a longer, violent bang or crackle sound. It's more of a violent kind of sound. It's longer. So that's why I recognized it.
Okay. Is a rifle sound louder typically?
Yes.
Okay. Going back to when you heard this gunshot, could you tell where it came from? Direction?
Yes, I knew it came from the east of me.
From the east of you. Okay. So you see this realization comes to your mind. What did you do next?
At that moment when I saw the holster, the empty holster, I turned to my chief and I said, that was a rifle shot. And he said, I agree. And I looked up at that moment, right in the line of sight, I could see the Losi building had a direct line of sight. So I proceeded to go look at that and see what was going on up there.
Okay. Can you just briefly describe your route to the Losi Center?
So from the courtyard, you can go into the Sorensen Center. And like I said earlier, there was on level 1, there's some elevators or there's stairs. I ran up 4 flights of stairs, got to the 4th level of the LOSI building, and proceeded to the south of the LOSI building. There's some stairs, which is at breezeway between the computer science building and the LOSI building. There's some stairs that go up to the top of that. And then so I went to the top of that.
Is that the stairway that you previously described?
Yes, on the outside of the LOSI building. Just
Okay. And it's a public stairway?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you make it to the rooftop?
I did.
Do you know about what time you got there?
I got there at 12:44.
Okay. What did you do when you got on top?
When I got on top, I hopped over the guardrail. I noticed that there was an object which was sitting right about 10 or 15 feet in from the other side of the guardrail in the gravel that looked out of place to me.
And in relationship to where you hopped over the guardrail, what direction was that object?
To the west of the guardrail.
Okay. And did you recognize the object?
I did.
And what was it?
It was a red and black screwdriver.
Okay. Did you touch that object?
I did not.
Okay. I am going to refer the witness on your screen, Officer Baggerly, to State's Exhibit 3.1. Let me know when you see that.
Yes, I see it.
Do you recognize what that is?
I do.
And what is that?
That's a picture of the screwdriver that I saw that day on top of the rooftop of the LOSI building.
Okay. And that's how it appeared on the roof that day?
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate portrayal of the screwdriver you observed and found that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state offers State's Exhibit 3.1.
Ms. Nestor?
Your Honor, we renew, excuse me, we renew our standing objection and object on the grounds that there's no foundation laid as to when the photo was taken or by whom. Thank you.
Same response, Judge. My previous arguments.
And did you state that this was a fair and accurate representation as of September 10th, 2025?
I had said that day. I'll ask it again.
All right.
To the officer. Officer Bagley, you saw this screwdriver you're describing on September 10th, 2025. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is State's Exhibit 3.1 a fair and accurate depiction of that screwdriver that day, September 10th, 2025?
Yes.
All right.
State moves to admit.
I will go ahead and admit, State's Exhibit 3.1 is admitted based off of the firsthand knowledge of this, what this image purports to be, and it is a fair and accurate representation as this item on that date of September 10th, 2025, and this exhibit may be published.
Your Honor, before we continue to publish it and ask a few more questions, right now might be a good time to take a break,
All right.
if that's okay with the court.
All right, let's come back at, it's 10:43. Let's go ahead and come back, well, 10:44. Let's come back at 11 o'clock and then we'll resume direct examination. Court is in a brief recess. Examination. Court is in a brief recess.
Worth going on about exhibits. I saw some reports saying that, they weren't going to show any of the evidence, but actually that was a motion or that was a move made by the defense, not the state. The state is moving to show them all, but the defense has a concern about those being displayed or published, quote unquote, published before they've been admitted as evidence. So that's the back and forth going on there, which is interesting. I do have some notes on that. That it's the hearing started with arguments over publishing of evidence beyond the courtroom per the defense request. This per the defense, the state wants evidence published. Defense doesn't want anything to be public, especially prior to the judge admitting his evidence. So that's the central tension there. I believe we've pulled some of the key clips that we will be able to replay on the other side of our break. How are we doing on clock, guys? We're going through the clock. All right. Well, I could have used a break to kind of pull those clips too. That's another option. We've got Jay Town, former prosecutor, that is going to be joining us in just a second. And we also have, which I think is a very important guest, we have Austin Metcalf's father, and that's Jeff Metcalf. He's going to be joining us. I reached out to him because there's very few people that can understand the torment that Erica, Kirk, and Rob and Catherine, Charlie's parents, are experiencing right now, just having to be in the courtroom with Tyler Robinson. I can only imagine the agony that they are currently experiencing. So please pray for Erica, pray for Rob and Catherine, pray for the whole team, the larger team that's in Utah today. And it is true, Don Jr. is in the courtroom by Erica, Rob, and Catherine's side, standing in solidarity with them. So we appreciate Don for doing that. Blake, any thoughts? I'm going to pull something together here.
I mean, we told you last week, we're committed to seeing this process through from beginning to end. So we know this is a little unusual from our normal show, but it's exactly what we want to be doing in this moment. We want to, there's been so many false claims about this process online. There's been so much, I think, agitation because people have been waiting for this. They want to see the process of justice play out. And because there were so many delays, a lot of other stuff intruded. And we're so glad we're finally at this point where we're seeing witnesses come up. We're seeing people talk about it. And we're committed to showing every minute of it that we're able to.
Yeah. So like I said, we've got Jay Town and we've got Austin Metcalf's father. So this is interesting too. So you just heard the last witness before they took the break is actually a UVU police officer. I'm not sure his name presently, but essentially he said he heard a shot, and then he was asked what kind of shot. He said it sounded like a rifle because it was louder. He seemed to be familiar with the type of shot. So the internet's going to be full of all these alternate theories. Here's the police officer that was on duty that day saying, "I heard a rifle." Here we go. So, yeah, the defense attempted to object to entering the first exhibit, a photo of the courtyard, in for publication. The state of UVU campus on September 10, 2025. Defense, Your Honor, we would object to inability to inauthenticate. There's not been a foundation laid that this officer took this photo, can verify when it was taken or by whom it was taken, so we would object. So this is the sort of back and forth that is going to play out over the next couple of days. We are being sort of warned that this is going to be typical, that, they're going to present evidence, there's going to be objections. It all is very procedural. And I mean, I don't know, there hasn't been a whole heck of a lot presented yet. But
there hasn't.
There was a mention of meth that I'm trying to get clarity on. Oh, also, Judge Graff has entered in a picture for evidence of the screwdriver found by Officer Bagley. So that's his name, into the record. I will go ahead and admit. So that was a direct quote from Judge Graff. So that was the officer that heard the rifle shot, Officer Bagley. He apparently was the one that discovered the screwdriver on top of the building
allegedly used for assembling, disassembling the rifle.
Yeah. And I know there's some controversy over assembling or disassembling, so we'll hold on that and not make any judgments until the evidence is presented in court. So that's about where we're at right now. We weren't expecting, we have Jay on the phone right now. All right, J-Town, are you there?
I am here. I'm here. So sorry we weren't able to do video today, but that's okay. It's better they're staring at you anyway.
No, that's great. I appreciate it, Jay. I know it's very difficult to kind of predict the clock for this hearing. They keep kind of suggesting they're going to have a break at one time, and then it either goes long or they get delayed on the first, the first marker. And so then everything, the timeline is shifting, but I guess that's what we have to expect this week. All right. So Jay, you have been monitoring this hearing, right? Very, very closely. Yeah. You're a career prosecutor. You're a former U.S. attorney. Tell us what you have observed from this hearing thus far.
Well, a couple of things. One, from the prosecution perspective, they've been very meticulous. Anytime you put a witness on, especially a professional like a police officer, which my understanding is there's going to be 4 police officers to testify to probably 40 or 50 different exhibits. And you're going to go through their experience. You're going to go through, where they were on that day. And then they're going to start to really, really narrow the focus about everything that they saw that is relative to the crime. You mentioned, I heard a rifle shot. And why do you say that? Well, because a pistol, a firearm, they make different noises. And you can tell a pistol shot from a 30-06. And so that was, I think, pretty interesting considering some of the tinfoil hat crowd out there, right? But at the same time, the defense counsel is going to make this as laborious as possible. There are no rules of evidence in a preliminary hearing, yet they've objected to every single exhibit thus far based on foundation. Now, let me just say for everybody, if your daughter or a friend takes a picture of your backyard, just because you didn't take the picture on that day, and maybe you weren't even in the country on the day that picture was taken, you can still authenticate a picture of your backyard as a fair and accurate depiction of your backyard. And that's all he was asking the officers to do. Frankly, I've had Google Earth images authenticated by police officers or by the owner of the wherever that the Google Earth was depicting. So defense is going to make this laborious. The thing about that is if they do that in front of a jury will hate them because they are just dragging it on, just making it hard unnecessarily because all the objections are overruled and then the evidence comes anyway. So we would just wasted another 20 minutes because you guys wanted to jump up for some preservation of the record objection that was meaningless.
Yeah. And so you think that this is just a preliminary trial tactic then, Jay? That they will, do you think that
it could? I mean, it could be, but typically you just wouldn't, your prelim hearing tactic and your trial tactic, they're about the same thing. And if we're, if history is any indicator, they've objected to everything. They've been a very litigious defense group. And so I don't know that they're not going to object to everything on the record, build a record, because they know, here's the thing, the reason you do that, the reason why you look scared is because you are scared, because there's overwhelming evidence against your client. And the only way to save his life is to hope for an appeal, an appellate court somewhere that says, you know what, that judge shouldn't have overruled that. It should have been sustained and yada, yada. And therefore you got to have a new trial. Well, okay, we're just going to take a plea deal now because it's 15 years from now and some of the witnesses are dead or don't remember. It's just an old case. And that's the hope. That's the tactic. I've seen it done over and over again. There's nothing new here. The evidence is overwhelming against Tyler. Is in the indictment, right? I mean, but the evidence itself, and we haven't even heard from the lover and the parents from Tyler Robinson, where admissions were likely made by Tyler Robinson.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, we've got an exhibit. I mean, they've got a list, right, of exhibits that they're planning on, right? So we've got a drone image of UBU, photo of the screwdriver, daytime photo of sniper perch, video of mother with children in crowd, written statement, video of shooting from behind the questioner, written statement, video of shooting from behind Charlie Kirk, written statement, video of shooting from behind the booth, photo of the rifle in the bushes, photo of the rifle in the bushes, photo of rifle in box, medical examiner report, UVU surveillance, doorbell camera, and then they've got recorded statement from Lance Twiggs. So, I mean, there's a ton here. Jay, it begs the question, because I saw some people mentioning this on social media, other lawyers kind of chiming in, and I don't know if this is specific to Utah law, but there was some people that were sort of saying, I'm surprised they didn't waive the preliminary, the defense didn't waive the preliminary hearing. What do you make of that? Is that even an option in the state of Utah, first of all? And assuming that they had a choice one way or the other, can you surmise tactics from either decision?
Well, I am surprised, frankly, that they didn't waive the preliminary hearing. The prosecutor said that the defense counsel has received every piece of evidence. So it's not like they're just wondering, is there any evidence against Tyler Robinson? They've received it all. They know that the evidence is overwhelming. So why air it all this week when there's not even any rules of evidence, right? So anything that might be inadmissible is not inadmissible this week. And what's happening is the world is watching. People are hearing the evidence against Tyler Robinson. No longer will defense counsel be able to hide against the tinfoil hat crowd and hope that they can draw some of those jurors for the actual jury trial, because there won't be any legs for the tinfoil hat crowd to stand on, because it will be so overwhelming. The admissions, the ballistics reports, the fingerprints, the DNA, some of the other evidence that likely exists that hasn't even been commented on yet. And so waive it. It's not like, that's the other thing, is that it's not like this is going to be sworn testimony from eyewitnesses where they said they saw a small dog one day, and then on the stand they say they saw a puppy, and they try to make reasonable doubt out of that. The hearsay is admissible. So, the officers, when they're having these conversations with other people and they testify about those conversations, that would be hearsay at trial. So there's really no ability to impeach on that hearsay, because it won't even be admissible at trial. You have to actually call the witness. So again, it's just I don't know that this defense team is the dream team. That's kind of the conclusion I'm reaching at the moment.
Any thoughts, Blake?
It's just, I've been expressing all this bafflement to people that it seems every time there's a famous trial, the rules are totally different. We obviously have 50 states, but it's all just very overwhelming. So we're very grateful to have you here, someone who's experienced, to walk us through this. A thought I've had, I know they say they plan for this to take about the week. It's going to be full days, other than Wednesday. They have a half day. Is there any chance this ends surprisingly early or goes surprisingly long? Could this go into the next week?
With this defense team, it's possible. I mean, the prosecution really, if the judge, allows things to move along, the prosecution really should be done today. Most of the stuff is just being entered, like the medical exam. I mean, they have to prove that Charlie Kirk did in fact die, and that he died from a gunshot wound, and that it was deemed a homicide by the ME. So those are all just sort of admitted pro forma. A lot of these exhibits will be admitted pro forma, so they should be done today, maybe first thing in the morning. But this defense team, that for some reason, they want to drag their client through and let the whole world see just how guilty he is, and maybe poison the jury pool. Maybe that's the only tactic that makes sense here, is that they're trying to make voir dire so hard because everybody has seen such overwhelming evidence of Tyler Robinson's guilt.
Well, so you say they could get it all done today. So, for example, the Lance Twiggs statement that they have, that they can't cross-examine, but are we going to hear the whole statement? Are they going to give a summary of the statement? Are they just going to state,
show the video?
We have this, and we'll get into it?
It's a video interview that they did with them. So I would presume, Jay, that they're going to show the whole thing, right? Or at least they're going to show the video.
They are, or at least play the audio of it if the judge doesn't want to show it, that's fine. If I'm the state at this point, every piece of evidence I'm putting in, because you guys are making me go through this ridiculous process. You know what your client did, so does he. But you want to go through it? Fine. I am going to paint the most guilty person that ever lived for the whole world to see and behold. So I'm not pulling punches if I'm the prosecution at this point. You're going to make me waste a week on this? Fine. Guess what? Your guy is going to look like the most guilty person that ever lived. And he is. So go ahead, state of Utah.
Yeah, interesting. So you think the tactics here then, and maybe I'm reading into what you said, Jay, is that, you know, they're gonna make this laborious. They're gonna make it as painful as possible. Maybe either, you know, just to keep pushing the psychology, maybe taint a jury pool. Do you think that there's a tactic here where they're trying to get the evidence out, so that, because the internet does what the internet does with this stuff, and the tinfoil hat crowd, as you call them, are they banking on that, do you think?
It could be. I mean, they could just be banking on breaking the will of the prosecution, that they just don't have it in them, the energy to fight for the Kirk family, for Charlie Kirk. And that it very well could be that they think that, you know, maybe they'll just give up and give them life without parole.
I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah.
It better not happen.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, you look, all these strategies are losers, guys. That's the thing you got to remember from the defense perspective, the defense lawyer's perspective. Everything they do is going to cause a loss, right? Their guy is gonna be found guilty and likely sentenced to death. So if that's the case, then I mean, what strategy isn't worth trying, right?
Huh.
Good point.
I think that's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you sort of like don't have the evidence on your side and there's not a whole lot of outs, you're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall to see if you could get the judge to do
Correct.
something
100%.
that could trigger a
Drag it
mistrial
out.
or get it reversible on appeal. I find that like a really interesting psychology for the defense, to be honest.
People keep speculating that the defense might be hoping on, can we get a weirdo on the jury who'd be open to thinking Israel did this,
Mhm.
the Trump administration did this. I imagine it's basically malpractice for the lawyer to openly play to that, and they don't want to end up getting disbarred. But would that be in the back of their heads that the longer we drag this out, the more crazy people there will be, and that could improve our odds of a mistrial?
Well, perhaps. I mean, you do broaden the pool. The longer the crazies get to run around on the internet, then the more crazies there might be. But look, the prosecution is going to have a team of people scrubbing social media, scrubbing chat rooms, everything they can get their hands on to be looking for anything as it relates to Charlie Kirk. And there are 12 people in the state of Utah that haven't formed an opinion about Tyler Robinson's guilt, but also don't subscribe to the tinfoil hat crowd, I guess, as I'm going to continue to call them, because, you know, I mean, they can be fair-minded, open-minded. They have to be able to subscribe to the death penalty. That'll be difficult in the state of Utah as well. Very conservative, very religious state. But here in the great state of Alabama, you know, we do it on the regulars, and you know, some people can get past it because justice is important. So again, the defense counsel, they're going to try every single tactic. They're going to try to break the will of the prosecution, and that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I don't really see. I mean, when you've got this much evidence, right, Jay, you would think that the prosecution is sort of willing to go through brick walls if they have to. You know, all these objections, all this procedural stuff. I mean, I can't imagine that they would be cowed by that. We do have this clip getting loaded right here, and I think it's worth playing back, Jay, and get your reaction to it. It's a longer clip, so if you bear with me. But this is the moment where UVU police officer Chris Bagley describes the sound of the rifle and what he saw and did in the immediate aftermath. And the team, it's loading, but we will have that for you in just a second, I believe. Right, team? it's just a long clip. Bear with us. But I think this is kind of one of the central pieces. Okay, it's ready. Let's go ahead and play it. Jake, can you hang there just right now while we play
Yeah.
this? It's a longer clip. Bear with us, audience, but this is the way the court works. SOT 19.
You mentioned you heard something. What did you hear again?
I heard a gunshot.
Okay. And can you describe you described Mr. Kirk's reaction? Was that simultaneous to hearing the gunshot?
Yes, it was.
When he fell to the left?
Yes.
Did you see the reaction from the crowd?
Yes.
What was that?
Everybody kind of got up. They all said, a lot of people were screaming, standing up and starting to run in all different directions away from the center of the tent.
Okay. You're a police officer helping to secure the area, correct?
Yes.
What did you do?
At that moment, I recognized it as gunfire. I left my post, which was right there on the south end of the Hall of Flags.
Jay, I apologize. I guess the hearing is coming back. And is it already up, guys? All right, so we're gonna go back to the hearing. J-Town, thank you so much for joining. We're gonna be in close contact this week, my friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank
All
you.
right, let's go ahead and take the court hearing.
Representatives are entitled to be treated with dignity and respect, that if they choose to leave the courtroom, they can come back whenever they wish. They're not prohibited to coming back solely at the break. So I just wanted to clarify that in case there was any question about that. In addition, I want to talk about the exhibits as it relates to their admission and publication of the exhibit. So whenever there is an objection to an exhibit, I would ask that the attorneys are clear specifically what they're objecting to. There's basically three levels of objections that could be objected to. First, the admittance of the exhibit itself. Second is the publication of the exhibit to the gallery. And third is the publication which is electronically captured by the media. So counsel, I'll leave it to you in regards to what you object to or what you wish to respond to. If no objection to the publication media capture of the exhibit is specifically raised, the court will presume there's no objection. So being that the monitor was introduced today by the court, I wanted to offer that guidance to the parties in regards to your objections. With that, let's go ahead and return to the witnesses. I do note for the record that the counsel is present and all the parties are present, and let's go ahead and proceed. Mr. Grunander.
Thank you, Your Honor. We left off Officer Bagley with just having admitted State's Exhibit 3.1. I believe the court also granted our motion to publish 3.1. So we would ask the court to publish that to the gallery, 3.1.
Ms. Nestor, any thoughts?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll go ahead and publish Exhibit 3.1. Looks like it's just taking a second to come up on the screen. Let's go ahead and unplug and replug in the monitor to see if that brings it back to life, to display. All right, looks like it's noticing a flicker on my screen here.
Thumbs up.
All right. Yes. All right, Mr. Grunander.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Bagley, so you testified that this is the screwdriver as you saw it on September 10th, 2025, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to, and this was on top of which roof?
Low-C building.
And in relationship to the entrance, the stairway, and when you hopped over the rail to get there,
There's
where
about
was
10
it located?
About 10 or 15 feet in.
Okay. If I could, Your Honor, bring up State's Exhibit number 2 that was previously admitted.
All right.
I would like to have Officer Bagley come down from the witness stand and point on that exhibit approximately where this screwdriver was located and describe it for the record.
All right, you may step down. And if you have a microphone for him as well.
I think there was one up there. Oh, here we go. So if you can describe where you saw that screwdriver, point to that.
Yeah, so this is the Low-C building right here, the light gray. Here's the guardrail in the center of the picture with the red brick. Just over that, about 10, 15 feet in, about right there.
About right there. Okay. Now on this exhibit, Exhibit 3.1, there's an evidence tag, yellow number 5. Was that present when you found the screwdriver?
No.
Okay. So that was left there by an evidence. Officer, I'm going to direct your attention. And if you'll let me know when you see that.
Okay, I see it.
Okay. And can you tell us what that is?
Yes, that's a picture of the top of the Low-C building looking west.
Okay. And how do you know that that is, in fact, the top of Low-C Center, looking west?
I can see the landmarks of several buildings, that the Fugel buildings on the top left of it. You've got on the right is a white roof, which is the Sorensen building on the right side of the picture. This is also the gravel area on top of the Low-C building.
Okay. Can you see the courtyard from this exhibit?
Yes, a little bit.
What about the tent that was set up that Mr. Kirk was underneath?
Yes.
Okay. What about the Hall of Flags?
Yes.
Did you mention that this was facing west? What direction are we looking?
We're looking west towards Utah Lake.
Okay. Officer, is this a fair and accurate depiction of what you observed on September 10th, 2025 on top of the Low-C building?
Yes.
State offers State's Exhibit 3.2, Judge.
Ms. Nestor?
Your Honor, I think that we renew our standing objection. There is an evidence tag here, which begs the question that it's not a fair and accurate representation of how he saw it. And we also don't have any indication about when this picture was taken or by whom. So we object to its admission.
I see. Thank you. Mr. Grunander.
Officer, one more question, Judge. Officer Bagley, apart from the evidence tag, do you see an evidence tag on that photograph?
Yes, I do.
Was that present when you were on top of the Low-C Center and has observed this?
That was not.
Okay. Otherwise, is it fair and accurate?
Yes.
State moves to admit.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Given that follow-up question, noting that the evidence tag appears to be number 2 on State's Exhibit 3.2 was not present, but otherwise it is a fair and accurate representation as stated by the witness to State's Exhibit 3.2. The court will admit it into evidence and it may be published at the discretion of or the request of counsel.
Your Honor, the state would move to publish it.
All right.
Officer Bagley, will you describe what it is that we're looking at here?
Yes, on the top of the photo, you got the mountain range on the back. That's going to be looking west. You also have Utah Lake, which is towards the top of it. As you come down towards the center on the top, you've got a pond, which is the ponds over at Utah Valley University. If you come down from that, from where the water meets that red brick part, more towards the center is the Hall of Flags. And just below that, where you can see the grass and the white tent, is where Charlie Kirk was sitting looking west. And we're on top of the LOSI building.
And is this depicting a particular corner of the LOSI rooftop?
Yes, it is.
And this is the top rooftop?
Yes.
Is it the same level where we observed the atrium that's to the north?
The atrium's up just a little bit higher. So this is the top level of 4.
Level 4, okay. And what area of the rooftop are we looking at here?
You're looking
As far
on
as the gravel?
southwest side of the LOSI building.
Southwest side, okay. Is there a line of sight down into the courtyard
Yes, there is.
in that area? Okay. What else do you observe on this exhibit that's significant to you, officer?
There was some disturbance in the gravel right where, and around the area where in the area where the yellow marker is there was some disturbance that caught my eye there.
Okay. And does this photograph do it justice?
No.
And how so?
You can't really see the impression I saw the time of when I was up there on that day. I saw a distinct impression in the gravel, and this does not show that.
Okay, so you could see more with the naked eye?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to refer the witness to State's Exhibit 4 on your monitor there. And let me know when you can see that.
Okay, I can see it.
And do you recognize that exhibit?
I do.
And what is that?
This is a nighttime view of that same photo. That was just last, same view, looking west, and I can see the disturbance in the gravel.
And what tells you that this is the same photograph as the last one, as Exhibit 3.2?
You can see the Hall of Flags. That's direct, almost the top of the photo. In the middle, you got the Hall of Flags. You can see the tent in the grass area, the direct line of sight with the Sorensen building, and I'm on top of the gravel of the LOSI building, southwest side.
Is there also an LDS temple that's depicted in that photograph?
There is. It's going to be on the top left of the photo. It's lit up.
Okay. Do you know who took this photo?
I do.
And who took this photo?
Melissa Richards.
And who is Melissa Richards?
She's the lead senior forensic for the state of Utah
Okay.
examiner.
And how do you know that she took this photograph?
I spoke to her.
Okay.
Let's renew the objection to hearsay that's in our standing objection.
Thank you. Mr. Grunander, do you want to respond to the objection about hearsay?
Yes, Judge. Under Rule 1102, hearsay is admissible to establish the foundation for or the authenticity of any exhibit. That's found in 1102 sub B sub 3. I would also point out for the court that under Rule 1101, which is the applicability of the rules, in subsection C1, the determination of questions of fact preliminary to admissibility of evidence when it's determined under Rule 104, which are preliminary questions, the rules of evidence do not apply. 104 speaks directly to laying foundation for an exhibit. So even at trial, hearsay is admissible to establish the foundation of an exhibit. I would also just point the court to State v. Griffin. This is a 2016 Utah Supreme Court case. The citation is 384 Pacific 3rd 186, which stands for hearsay evidence is admissible to establish the foundation of an exhibit, even at trial. And we're at a preliminary hearing today, Judge.
All right. Anything further, Ms. Nestor, before I issue a ruling?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to overrule the objection to hearsay. I note the standing objection by defense. I also note Rule 1102, and I also look to Article 1, Section 12 of the Utah Constitution, which states nothing in this Constitution shall preclude the use of reliable hearsay evidence as defined by statute or rule in whole or in part at any preliminary examination to determine probable cause or at any pretrial proceeding with respect to release of defendant if appropriate discovery is allowed as defined by statute or rule. For those reasons, I'm going to overrule the objection, and as it relates to reliable hearsay in this instance, you may proceed.
Officer Bagley, did you ask Ms. Richards if this was a fair and accurate depiction of this scene on the Losi building on the night of September 10th, 2025?
Yes,
And what did she tell you?
she said it was.
Okay. Your Honor, the state offers State's Exhibit 4.
Ms. Nestor?
Just object to relying on what Ms. Richards told him in terms of creating the foundation and refer back to our standing objection.
The state will submit it.
All right. Well, as I look at State's Exhibit 4, and again, I'm just looking at it before me, it said it was a fair and accurate representation. There's a notation. I mean, in the previous exhibits, there's a marker, exhibit marker, and I see 2, but it also appears to be other artifacts on this image that I haven't heard any testimony about. And so
I will follow up, Judge.
All right.
Officer Bagley, do you see an evidence tag in that exhibit?
Yes, I do in number 2.
A number 2, and that's yellow and black.
Yes.
Do you see other evidence markers that are red in color?
Yes, they are, to me, they're orange, but they're triangular shaped.
Okay. Were those markers, the evidence tag 2, as well as the orange or red markers, present when you observed that scene that day?
No.
Okay. Were they present, however, when Ms. Richards took this photograph?
Yes.
And she indicated to you that that is a fair and accurate representation of what she observed that night?
Yes.
State would move to admit Exhibit 4, Judge.
Ms. Nestor?
Objections, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Nestor. I'm going to go ahead and overrule the objection, noting that the marker, evidence marker, as well as the red or orange markers, I can't tell which color it is, was not present originally. And with those included information, State's Exhibit 4 is admitted into evidence and may be published.
Thank you. The state would move to publish that.
All right.
And I would ask for the witness to come down to explain the exhibit.
All right, officer, if you'd like to step down, use the microphone, and as previously noted, describe, when you're describing something on the image, where it is located on the image for the benefit of our recording.
So, officer, will you describe for the court what it is that you're looking at?
So what I'm looking at is I'm on top of the Losi building, which is where the gravel is on towards the bottom center. I'm looking west towards the tent, which is in the upper center, that you got a white tent. You can see the grass down there in the amphitheater. You got the Hall of Flags that's more towards the top center. And behind that, you got I-15. But what I'm looking at is in the disturbance of the gravel is what I saw that day.
Okay, and what can you describe for the record that disturbance?
To me, when I got up there and I could see this disturbance of gravel, to me, it looks like a sniper pad, a person that has been laying in a prone position, and you've got markings of elbows, knees, and feet to where somebody was in the line of sight of where Charlie's tent was.
Thank you. And if we could, again, take the, if we could publish State's Exhibit number 2. You recognize that, right, officer?
Yes, I do.
Where on the Losi rooftop did you observe this disturbance in the gravel?
If you go to the
Can you
center of
point
the
to that?
picture, if you go to the center of the picture in the darker gray part of it, on the left side, so the south side of the Losi building, it would be right in the line of sight of the Charlie Kirk tent that's straight in front of it.
Okay,
Or the southwest side of the roof.
thank you. You can take your seat. finally, I would direct the witness's attention to State's Exhibit number 5 on the monitor. Let me know when that's there.
It is.
It is
Yes.
there. And do you recognize that exhibit?
I do.
And what is that?
This is going to be a picture of the side profile of that last photo we looked at with some red or orange markers and a number 2 with also a tape that's there on top of the Losi building.
What was that tape that you said?
There's a measuring tape, it looks like.
Okay. Are you able to tell which direction the photographer was facing?
Yes,
And what direction is that?
it's facing south.
This is a nighttime photograph, correct?
Yes,
Do you know who took this picture
I do.
and who took the picture?
It was Melissa Richards.
The same individual that you spoke about before?
Yes,
Did you ask her whether this is a fair and accurate depiction of what she observed that
Yes.
night?
yes.
What did she say?
She said it was.
With respect to what you observed that day, apart from the evidence tag, the yellow tag, as well as the orange or red markers, is this a fair and accurate depiction of what you observed?
Yes.
What's different about what you observed as far as what's on the photograph, the previous exhibit, compared to this?
You can see more of the length of an individual. So you can see that more, there's 2 elbows, 2 knee areas, plus also towards the far right of the photo is also a marker where like somebody laid a gun down.
Okay.
It's like a prone position.
Your Honor, pursuant to Rule 1102, as well as other authority that's been cited today, the state offers State's Exhibit 5 into evidence.
Your Honor, we renew all the same objections we made to Exhibit 4.
Thank you. Given the foundation that has been laid and that the witness has testified that this is a fair and accurate representation of the scene, noting the tape as well as the markers in that, State's Exhibit 5 is admitted into evidence and may be published.
State moves to publish Exhibit 5, Judge.
All right.
Before turning to what you did next on that day, taking you back to the daytime of September 10th, 2025, did you secure the rooftop of the Losi building that day?
Yes, I did.
And how did you do that?
I put yellow police crime scene tape around the portion where, so nobody else would disturb that area.
And when you say that area, what areas are you talking about?
I'm talking about the roof where it was the southwest side of the roof where I found the disturbed gravel, where it looked like somebody had been proned out in the line of sight of the tent. So right there.
Did you secure the area as far as any of the entrance area up onto the rooftop with police tape?
Yeah, so then where that natural guardrail is, that was the other barrier where they were advised not to go any further from there other than police officers.
Okay. If we could go back to State's Exhibit number 2. If we were to zoom in on this photograph, are you able to see the police tape that you put up on the rooftop of the Losi Center, officer?
Yes, you would be able to.
Kimberly, if we can zoom in. Officer, I'm going to have you come down and describe for the court where you put that police tape up to secure that scene, the rooftop area. On the southwest corner of the rooftop.
So this is the top of the Losi building. You got your 2 different grays. The southwest is towards the top, center of the picture. You can see some yellow tape that spans from over here on the far right side of the picture by these black pipes, goes around a silver vent, comes back down around to the corner of that silver to keep everybody out of that area where that prone position was at.
Okay. On that photograph, are you able to see where you put the tape up as far as the the access way to that roof near the stairway?
So it was right here, actually, this natural barrier where you have to climb over the guardrail. So this is the electric barrier that I had to set up.
And you put police tape on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you eventually leave that area?
I did.
Do you recall about what time you left that area?
Oh, I have it in my notes. It would be when I left that area, it was almost 1 o'clock, about 1:03, 1:01.
Okay. Before leaving, did you leave the scene with anyone?
I did not leave the scene. Or did I leave the scene to somebody? Yes.
Just to someone else?
Yes.
And who was that?
It was a county deputy, a female.
Did you provide instructions to her?
I did.
And what were those instructions?
I advised her not to let anybody inside the crime scene
Okay.
without being a police officer or an investigator.
Okay. Thank you. You can take your seat again. Officer, upon seeing this disturbance in the gravel, you've described what it looked like to you.
Yes.
Someone lying down in a prone position, correct?
Yes.
What did you do next?
So when I got to the top of the Losi building during that day, I noticed a screwdriver, kept going to the edge, found that prone position. At that moment, I realized, because it was direct line of sight, plus the disturbance in the gravel, where I could see somebody lay down in a prone position or a sniper position, and asked dispatch to get on the then I realized that we probably didn't have our shooter in custody. From that moment, I asked dispatch to get on the camera system and to see if anybody was on top of the Losi building during the time of the incident.
Were you advised of anything?
I was. Dispatch came back and advised me that there was a male individual on top of the roof that was there at the time of the shooting.
Did they describe what his movements were?
They did. They stated that he ran to the edge, dropped down, crawled, got in a prone position.
I'm going to stop you right there. Ran to the edge. What direction and what edge?
Running west and southwest of the Losi building. So ran towards the tent where Charlie Kirk was, so they could get a line of sight. And then the individual stood up after the shooting and ran northeast on the top of the Losi building.
Okay. You mentioned that this individual on the video dropped off the edge. Did you get that?
I haven't
from-
mentioned that.
Oh, what happened? What else was described to you?
Then, well, at that moment, so I knew that there was possibly a shooter on the run.
Your Honor, can we just have a continuing objection to all of the hearsay that's being testified to here?
And Judge, my response to that was, I'm not actually offering this for the truth of the matter asserted at this point, simply for the effect on the hearer. So I'm not offering what's been described in the video as substantive evidence.
All right. Ms. Nestor, with that clarification, any thoughts?
I'll just stand on the objection. I don't think, I mean, he's clearly offering it for the truth because he's asking him to describe the route of the individual, and it's based on what other people told him. So if he wants to circle back to it after he's put the video in, I mean, we could do that. But right now, I still think it's inappropriate hearsay, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Greenander?
I'll submit it to the court.
All right. So as the magistrate, as this is not to a jury, it's to myself as a magistrate, I am not accepting that statement for the truth of the matter asserted, simply for what has been stated. So I'm specifically making that finding as I'm receiving this evidence, and I'm not accepting it for the truth of the matter asserted, only as represented by Mr. Grunander. And with that, the objection is overruled. Mr. Grunander, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. So you mentioned you were provided with information that an individual was running north on the Losi rooftop, correct?
Yes.
What else was described to you?
At that moment, I knew I had responding units coming into the scene. I advised other officers that I needed the Losi building secured, searched, because I didn't know exactly what way that other than he ran north. That moment I went down to the police department, which is just down the stairwell, and looked at the video myself. And
Where is the police department located?
it's in the Gunther Trade Building, just directly to the south of the Losi building.
Okay.
So where I described those outside stairs, the building to the left of that or south would be the Gunther Trade Building.
Okay. on what level is the police department?
It's level 3.
Level 3. Okay. Upon arriving at the police department, what did you do next then?
I then look at the footage to verify for myself exactly what expired on that moment, where I could see an individual run to the edge, get up, and then run off, and then drop off the northeast side of the building, of the Losi building.
Okay. Having viewed that, what did you do next?
At that moment, I realized I had more crimes, a bigger crime scene that I needed to contain and preserve for evidence. At that moment, I went and grabbed some more crime scene tape, and I responded to the northeast side of the building and secured an area where I saw impressions of the shoe print inside the grass, and also up above on that northeast side of the building, I could see on the cement where someone had scuffed there and then dropped down to the shoe imprint and then finished going northeast.
Okay. If I can take the witness back to State's Exhibit 2. You mentioned seeing an individual drop down. Could you come down and point that area out to the court?
Yes. Okay, this is the Losi building again on the top right center of the photo. Southwest side is where the individual was laying down prone in the line of sight, came behind the aquarium or atrium, came behind that on the west side of it, came up to the north side of the Losi building on the east on this white square piece on the far right of the picture. And then he dropped off on the east side of the Losi building into the grass down here below.
So the northeast corner.
Yes, northeast corner.
You mentioned you observed something on the grass.
I did. I saw a shoe imprint that was embedded pretty deep right there next to where he dropped off.
And this is all footage that you personally observed on the
Yes.
surveillance video.
Yes.
Okay. When you got to the scene, describe in as best detail as you can what you saw on the grass then.
So when I got to the scene, I could see that there was a shoe imprint there. When I looked up onto the cement from the roof, I could see some scratching or rub marks from the top of the roof that was not there. So I could see that looked abnormal. I then decided to put crime scene tape around the whole area in case there was more evidence that needed to be preserved.
On that exhibit number 2, do you see where you placed the crime scene tape?
Yes, I do.
And where is that? Can you describe that to the court?
It's going to be on the far right in the center of the picture. You can see the yellow tape. I came around trees, came up further out of pictures, some more trees. I came down all the way down to the back side of the LDS Institute building where there's a sidewalk to block everybody out of coming up that way.
Okay. Did you at one point leave the scene?
I did.
Did you release the scene to anyone?
Yes, I did.
And who was that?
There was 2 Payson police officers that were standing there.
Okay. Were they in uniform?
They were.
Did you provide them with any instructions?
I advised them not to let anybody inside the crime scene other than law enforcement or investigators.
Okay. You can take your seat again, Officer Bagley. You've talked about the disturbance in the gravel that was observed on the Losi building.
Yes.
Did you walk through that disturbance in the gravel?
I did not.
Did you otherwise touch it in any way?
No.
With respect to the shoe print that you observed on the grass on the northeast lawn area below the Losi building, did you walk through that?
I did not.
Did you otherwise disturb that?
No.
Officer Bagley, what did you do next?
From that moment, I then released the scene. I went down to the Fugal building and knew that where the incident command center was at, so I could relay information that I'd found to responding units and people in charge.
If I can have just a moment, Judge.
You may.
State will pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Ms. Nestor? And Ms. Nestor, before you begin, what time would you like to break for lunch? Where I don't want to interrupt a line of questioning, and so I just want to make sure that we're just taking a look at the clock and when you feel is a good time to break, roughly in that 12:10 range.
I will aim for that, Your Honor. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
May it please the court.
Yes.
Good afternoon, or morning still.
Morning.
Officer Bagley, my name is Kathy Nestor. I'm one of the attorneys representing Mr. Robinson today, and I do have some questions for you.
Okay.
So you mentioned that you checked in around 11 a.m. on the day of the shooting. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you know in advance there was going to be this event on campus?
I did. I signed up for an overtime shift. So yes.
You,
For
you
the
signed-
special event, I signed up for the overtime shift.
Got it. And so did you attend any type of debrief or briefing or meeting to prepare for the security of this event?
I did not, because that morning when I got there, we had individuals on top of the Hall of Flags. So when I walked in, I just checked on, was going to get my uniform on. The chief Long got a text or an email or phone call stating that there's people on top of the Hall of Flags throwing stuff down to the tent. Therefore, he sent the 2 officers that were on duty down to secure the area. I got dressed and then came back on, and then went to the Hall of Flags to secure that area.
So you never attended any kind of, I'll just use the word debrief or meeting to talk about what the officers on scene were going to do that day to keep everybody safe?
No, not that morning.
Do you know if there was such a meeting?
I don't know, because when I got there, it was people were throwing stuff down on the tent.
And do you know how many UVU officers you guys employ normally?
There was 15
And do you know how many were assigned to cover that event that day?
that were assigned to cover it. There was 6 of us there was patrol 1 and then 5 others that were there with the chief.
Did you all have an idea there were going to be thousands and thousands of people there? Or was that a surprise to you?
Had an idea.
And you only had 5 officers?
6, yes.
6, I'm sorry, counting you, I was
Yes.
thinking. And of those 6 officers, are you all armed? Do you carry weapons?
Yes.
What type of weapons do you carry?
Glock pistols.
And was there any use on campus of, I think they're called magnetometers, but the machines you walk through at TSA and the airport where it checks to see if you're carrying anything metal, what we all had to go through to get in the courtroom. Were there any machines like that set up or being used on campus that day?
No.
And as far as you know, were there any drones that were flying above campus that day?
Not that I know of.
And did anyone ever talk to you about covering anything near or on top of or in the Low C building? Were you ever assigned that area before the shooting?
No,
Do you know who was?
I don't.
And when you got up to the roof that afternoon, was anybody around that was law enforcement?
No,
Nobody on the roof?
no,
Nobody on the stairway?
no,
Nobody on the walkway?
no.
Okay. And in the state of Utah, is a campus a gun-free zone? Are students allowed to have guns on campus?
It's an open carry state, so yes.
And did you see anybody that was armed that day other than law enforcement?
I did not see.
Were you aware of whether Mr. Kirk had his own security team present there with him?
Yes.
Did you communicate with any of those people?
I saw one individual that was on top of the Hall of Flags right next to me. Yes.
Okay, and that was before the shooting.
Yes. And then I saw several down in the crowds and down by him. Yes.
And were you aware of whether that person was armed either?
I was aware he was armed.
Okay. Was there any other law enforcement agency besides Mr. Kirk's private security team and your 6 officers, including you, that were covering that event that day? In other words, did you have any Provo police or Orem police or anyone that you knew of or federal agencies?
I don't know.
You never saw any that day?
No, not until the response came in.
And you did mention, I think I heard you just a few minutes ago testify, you turned over the scene on the roof to a woman who was a deputy sheriff, right?
Yes,
And that you turned over the scene where the individual dropped off to, I believe you said, was it Orem Police?
Payson.
Payson Police, thank you. Those people weren't there till after the shooting, right? They were part of just a response of everybody in the area.
Correct.
Okay. Did you receive any type of briefing materials, written materials prior to the event that talked about who would be covering what or anything like that?
No, not that morning. Like I said, it started getting hectic, so we were trying to get down there, secure the area, and push people away from the top of the tent.
Now, when this event was over, you prepared a report, is that right?
I did.
And in the report, it covers a lot of what you testified to with Mr. Grunander, doesn't it?
Yes.
And I think you said you attended, 600 hours of post-training?
It's around 600 hours, yes.
And I'm sure somewhere in that training, you were taught the importance of your police report
Yes.
and how it will be relied on years later to recreate events like it's being done right now. And so you know it's really important to be as accurate as possible in your report.
Yep.
Can we put up Bagley 1? Can we switch it over to the defense table, please? Thank you so much. And show it only to the witness. This is.
All right.
Do you see that report in front of you?
I do.
And is that the report that you prepared, or did you prepare this report?
I didn't. I did a supplement on it, but I didn't prepare the report. So, like, because the incident was a big agency assist, so obviously it says it has all the responding officers to that effect.
Oh, we need to go to the page. Thank you for pointing that out. Can we please move to page 3 or 5, maybe? All right, now let me ask the question again. Sorry, you just had the cover sheet up. Is that your report?
Yes, this is.
All right, and did you prepare that?
I did.
When did you prepare this report?
It looks like it was done the next day, either that day or the next day, because I wanted to make sure that I had it done where everything was fresh on my mind.
And do you have a copy of it in front of you?
I do, as a matter of fact.
May I just step in and just make sure that it's the same one? May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Oh, you're good.
We got to ask this now. Did you use AI to help you prepare your report?
I did not.
Okay, good. When you prepared your report, you referenced when you first heard the shot, don't you?
Yes.
And what is the time that you say that you heard the shot?
12:23.
Right. And when you wrote that report, you did not state in your report the direction you heard that shot come from, did you?
No, apparently not.
And take your time and look at the whole report and see if there's anywhere in there where you ever mentioned that it came from the east or to your right.
I don't see his direction.
Okay. And